For more than a century, wave after wave of immigrants have settled in Chicago's Back of the Yards neighborhood on the city's south side. Some striving, others struggling. The stockyards that once made it a meat-packing epicenter are now vacant. But this remains a working-class neighborhood where people depend on the food assistance, healthcare, and housing programs funded by the federal government. Programs that rely on the census to determine how much money is distributed to communities.
They only asked me about my family, how many people lived in my home. I was never asked about my paper. They didn't ask for my social security number. A lot of people are afraid because they think they'll ask for their papers.
We met JOSEFINA Salazar at a food drive. 150 packaged meals were collected in an hour. Back of the Yards is a neighborhood with a low census response rate. So state and county officials have organized food, mask, toiletry, and book giveaways to lure people out of their homes during the pandemic. Once there, volunteers help ensure they fill out Census 2020.
It serves multiple purposes, right? Because there is a need for food. We want to have the opportunity to interact with some of these residents. And so we've been doing this for the past month. And, I think that it does make a difference.
The 10 minutes it takes to complete the census translates into as much as $2,000 of federal funding per person a year for the next decade.
Even before the pandemic and the shifting deadlines, getting an accurate count for the 2020 census had become a challenge. The Trump administration slashed funding for outreach and staffing. It attempted to put a citizenship question on the form. The Supreme Court squashed that, but the fear in immigrant communities like this one lingers.
To compensate for the lack of federal funding, Illinois, like other states, has poured millions of dollars into getting an accurate census count. Illinois is expecting to lose a seat in the House of Representatives. Seats are based on the census.
Well, for more than 200 years, this was an administrative, a nonpartisan process. But unfortunately, we have a president of the United States who, among his other sins, has tried to discourage participation in the census.
After living in Back of the Yards for 30 years, some of that time undocumented, JOSEFINA Salazar is now volunteering for the census. She says she realizes being counted means ensuring their neighborhood gets the resources it needs. Natasha, Ghoneim, Jazeera, Chicago.